Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Avadon. Last episode was fairly exciting as we ended up stumbling upon the outside force of a raiding party going after the fort. Well, we managed to make it to the fort and kill the few raiders that were still outside, and now it's time to go into the fort and report in. We've also got a hand with us, Hand Khalida, who is helping us out, because the fellow scout we had has run off. Interesting. I suppose we're fine without the, leather gloves for now. Okay. Here we are. You meet one of the soldiers of Rockridge Keep. You're familiar with most of their faces, but you haven't had time to be on a first-name basis with more than a few. Still, the guard is happy to talk briefly with a fellow warrior. You trade tales of the recent rebel attack and share gossip about what might happen next. Then you go on your way. You enter the central courtyard of Rockridge Keep. Many soldiers are camped here. The pact has been reinforcing Rockridge Keep, sending fresh troops and supplies. There are 3 towers around the courtyard, and a road leads up to the east towards the commander's headquarters. The recent attack has put them all in a state of shock. None of them thought that the rebels were strong and confident enough to strike at their base. Now they know different. Most of the warriors are young, but one aging man in a long robe sits by the walkway to the east. None of the younger warriors go near him. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, we should probably report in for... Well, there's so much around here to look at. Who's the oldest guy to the east? No matter. Let's look around the outside of this place before we go into any buildings. Because that's kind of what I do. Okay, looks like they were trying to block off this area or something. That's the scout quarters, so that's probably where we stay. I mean, we are technically a scout. You know what, we'll come back in here later. We'll investigate these buildings after we explore outside, because, I don't know, it said 3 towers, and that's probably one of them. Cows. That probably yeah, that leads off to the south. You approach the southern gate out of Rockridge Keep. It is closed, and you doubt that the guards will open it for you until you have permission to leave. Commander Odil will tell you what you need to do. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay. Quartermaster, barracks. Hello. Ah, this must be Yannick. Rockridge Keep was built around ancient ruins. The lands of Linnaeus have an astonishing variety of fallen and forgotten empires. The obelisk here is the last sign of one of them. It is covered with faint carvings, writing in a language long dead. A middle-aged Kellam man sits cross-legged before the stone, copying the markings onto a sheet of paper. His robe bears a symbol of Avadon, which would explain why none of the soldiers ever get close to him. When you approach, he rises and nods to Khalida. "Greetings, fellow hand." He returns the greeting. She returns the greeting, and he turns to you. "And to you, Farron, is it? I have your description. I am glad to see you safely returned." "You are a hand of Avadon?" "I am. I came here with my colleague Khalida to investigate and to offer aid. I had to use my magical talents to deflect the assault. I should be an eye, alas, but my fire and ice has been deemed more useful than my insight." "Grow accustomed to these little complaints. Yannick has a library of them." "An eye?" "The hands of Avadon fight, the eyes learn and spy, the hearts advise, Redbeard. I feel I am more suited to the other task than the one I have been given, but it is not for me to choose." "I imagine." Yannick gives you a half-smile and waits to see what you have to say. He would clearly prefer to be spending his limited time studying the old stone. "What is your task here?" "To act to aid the pact and to scourge its foes. Beyond that, we have been given great freedom to choose how to act. Alas, we have found more activity than we expected. And I see that Khalida has already aided you. How have you found my colleague?" "It was an honor to travel with the hand of Avadon." "Really? Most are terrified of us. We appreciate the flattery, to be sure." "I imagine. Tell me about this stone." Yannick immediately shows a level of interest and engagement completely absent from his prior conversation. "Oh, remarkable, is it not? It appears to be the last known message from some of the long-lost tribe of hill people." "What does it say?" "No idea. Maybe a history, maybe an explanation of why they died out, or a story about how their young god king ate the sun. I'll need to access the Library of Avadon to figure it out. You study this instead of defending the keep? The keep has been defended. Now I wait for events to develop so that I can decide how my efforts are best used. Until then, I spend my time with something actually worthwhile. Actually worthwhile. Sure. You study old cultures. Kalita laughs. Oh, here we go. Yannick ignores this. I am a sage by choice, a hand of Avadon by compulsion. If I am spared a few minutes to follow my true purpose, I will. You were forced to be a hand. Avadon, when in need, is allowed to conscript skilled warriors. One of the few powers left to Avadon in its broken state. Kalita clears her throat. Yannick sighs. Oh, but we are not supposed to discuss our affairs with outsiders. I bet. Tell me about the attack. Well, from my vantage point, it appeared to be a well-organized suicide. A few humanoids and young Wildrim warriors, all hungry for glory, thought to attack this keep by surprise. And what happened? They underestimated our readiness. Most died, a few fled. The attack was a total failure, but more such attacks will follow. Did you aid in the defense? Yannick looks down at the notes on his lap. He sadly shakes his head. I killed, it is what I am reduced to. Kalita pats the aging man on the shoulder. He does his duty, but he is not a willing warrior. That's all for now, thanks. Well, very well then. Okay. Let's keep moving. This is where they were trying to break through. It's a good thing we stopped them. Otherwise, they could have killed our cows. Okay, so this way to where we're supposed to go. Finish our patrol. You know what? I kind of want to see what's in these other buildings. I know I shouldn't. I know I should finish our patrol now, but I want to see. Let's go into each of these quarters, see what's inside. There's someone with a name here. Watcher Carol. A Wildrim scout sits cross-legged and stares into the fire. His spine is perfectly straight and his hair is lined with several long, dignified streaks of gray. When you approach, he motions for you to sit across from him, not turning his eyes from the blaze. When you are seated, he looks up at you. Greetings, Farron. I know that your report must go to the commander, but I would also hear of your ordeal in the woods. The loss of Silk is a great wound, both to our forces and our spirits. Give a complete report. Watcher Carol listens somberly to the tale of your narrow escape and the fate of Silk. A good scout has fallen, and yet Silk was carried off. Perhaps there is a glimmer of hope. Thank you for the knowledge. I am grateful that you took the time before you begin your new journey. Now, what else would you have of me? How are you dealing with the raid? We are recovering from it as best we can. My scouts patrol the woods, looking for signs of a new attack. They stay close to Rockridge so that they can alert us quickly. Tell me about the contested lands. The contested lands? Yes, so they are called. For centuries, a hunting ground and sacred burial place of the Wildrim. Now simply an oddly shaded area on a map. They are a place where I fight my people, as fellow citizens of the Pact plot against me. These lands are now a place of bitterness. Tell me about the rebels. Corral's eyes flick toward you for a moment, looking for signs of suspicion. Seeing none, he says, I share with all the Wildrim great sorrow over the loss of our traditions. I also know that this great price brings greater safety in the arms of the Pact. I am loyal to the Pact, no matter what Dennis says. You said someone is plotting against you. Watcher Dennis in the next tower to the east. A bitter partisan for the Kava. He thinks me a traitor and liar, and he makes no secret of his desire to see me expelled from our gates. Has Dennis always wanted you expelled? Not always. It started when I was promoted to head scout. Why is Dennis so bitterly set against you? It is enough that I am a warrior of the Wildrim in a position of power. He thinks all of us are disloyal regardless of our record. Luckily, our commander is wiser. What would change Dennis's mind about you? He is quick to answer. I could save his life 100 times over, and he still would never trust me. What do you think of Dennis? Is he loyal to the Pact? He is Kava first and Pact citizen second. From birth, all Kava are taught to be loyal to their code. Pact laws are an afterthought for them. He's not smart enough to throw off his prejudices. Is there anything... Watcher Corral sits and stares into the fire. He has no maps or records surrounding him. He doesn't need them. The scouts whisper that every detail of this region, every hill, path, and fallen branch rests in his head. Is there anything I can do for you? For a moment he seems tempted to take your offer. Then he says, "There is something someone can do for us, but I don't have the rank necessary to give you orders. If someday you have a measure of freedom, return. Until then, I will not anger the commander." Understood, and very well. Scout Lore. There's a scout of the Wild Realm sitting by this fire, eating a quick bowl of stew before returning to her patrol. Her name is Scout Lore. You barely know her, but she was a close friend of Silk. When she sees you, she says, "Oh, greetings, Farron. I heard about your loss. Please, sit and join me." "Tell me about this keep." "It is unfamiliar. I've been here for months, and yet I cannot get used to living inside walls of stone. Even with the risks of the patrols, it is good to wander." "Well, I'd like to know more about the contested lands." Lore shakes her head. "I share with my people the desire for these lands, but I am no rebel. I would rather not say more. I follow my orders and do my work, that is all." "Why are these lands so important to the Wild Realm?" "For centuries we hunted here. We buried our dead. The Kaval would fill these lands with cities of stone when we... No, this is not the time or the place." "Tell me about the rebels." "They are a wound in our people. Our brothers and sisters, torn from the Wild Realm by the rebel Constina. What few freedoms we have to gain are not worth this loss. It would be better if she had never been born." Constina. I'd like to know more about the... Okay, we already asked that. Tell me about this keep. We did. Would you like to talk about Silk? Lore slowly nods. "I would. We were close friends. We came from the same tribe in the north, far from rebel lands to this chaos. I know that you were the last one she traveled with. I would like to hear anything you could tell me." Silk acted very oddly near the end. "You tell Lore the tale of your final time with Silk." She shakes her head. "Yes, some of those things were peculiar. Both understandable given the chaos. I'll trust in my memories of the Silk I knew." "Silk was struck and carried off. I don't know if the scout lived or died." "Then I will be a fool and choose hope. Silk was a hardy soul, the best of the Wild Realm. I think Silk lived. If you learn the truth one way or the other, I hope you will let me know." "I need to be going." "Thank you for the company, and may the ground rise to meet your feet." "Of course." And under here, not too much. I mean, I'll take a look. You take the helm. Under Rockridge Keep, an extensive series of caves and tunnels, both natural and man-made, have been stuffed with food, water, and equipment. Like any proper packed fortress, it is ready to weather a siege lasting months. However, the sticky webs hanging from a nearby wall suggest that not all is up to packed standards. The spider the size of a fist that tries to bite your ankle is another clue. These tunnels are infested. No guards are in sight. Understandable, they must have other things to worry about. If you're interested in a bit of freelance pest control, nobody will mind. We'll deal with that after we report in. We'll probably have a quest to deal with it or something. I don't know. Oh, look at this. This book is about the Wild Realm. Oh, what the hell, let's read it. Oh, Linnaeus is the name given to all of the known lands surrounded by the endless sea. The history of Linnaeus is the history of all living things. Nothing lies past the shore but ocean. Well, actually, there are legends of lands beyond the sea. Centuries ago, supposedly, some brave mariners departed and returned, bearing proof of other lands far beyond. But that was long ago, and any such evidence is lost, if it ever existed, which it almost assuredly didn't. There are other tales of mad mariners who tried to discover lands across the sea. They have never returned. The dominant power in Linnaeus is the Midlands Pact, more commonly known as the Pact. These 5 nations are located in the center of the continent. They stand united against the far lands and many small squabbling powers that occupy the outer peninsulas of Linnaeus. In terms of land, the Wild Realm is the largest of the 5 states in the Midlands Pact. In population, it is by a narrow margin the smallest. Of course, this is only counting the human population. If you count the drakes, werewolves, and other lethal pets of the Wild Realm's tribes, the number goes way up. Ignoring the tame beasts of the western tribes is a lethal mistake. The Wild Realm is not so much a nation as a loose, very loose, confederation of barbarian tribes. They are not insulted by the word barbarian. In fact, they claim it with great pride. As the rest of Linnaeus moved into stone cities with thick walls, the tribesfolk of the Wild Realm continued to roam their vast plains and woods. Normally, in any conflict between cities and tribes, the cities win. But the shamans of the Wild Realm, with their powerful chants and lethal reptilian servants, have done well maintaining their independence. Though the tribes love to fight each other, for land, for supplies, for artifacts, they will unite in an instant to deal with invaders. The Wild Realm's time in the Pact has not been without strife. The individual tribes fiercely claim absolute control over their lands. They tend to demand tolls from soldiers and merchants from the rest of the Pact who wish to cross, a violation of the terms of the Pact. The struggle has only grown more intense in the last 2 years. The southern tribes have been fighting a guerrilla war with the Kava for the rich hills of the contested lands. Wonderful. And that's all we know about the thing that has happened in the contested lands. Okay, what do we have here? Well, here's the barracks. Let's take a look inside. Rockridge Barracks. Anyone here? Rockridge soldiers. Gate guards. Rockridge soldier. That just goes down again. We'll investigate there later. Anything else in here? Is it just the barracks? Tanner. There's a Kava warrior in leather lurking in the back corner of the barracks. Several leather satchels are piled at his feet. You recognize Tanner immediately. He has a reputation as a skilled trader of scavenged goods. Not entirely legal, but the commander looks the other way. Oh, greetings! I'm Tanner. And you are... Wait, don't tell me. Farron, is it? Been waiting for you to come my way. Need anything Dennis Cantor won't give you? I can help you out. Like to talk about the rebellion. I get orders, I follow them. I don't have beliefs, otherwise bad for business. I just trade. Is it legal for soldiers to run a shop in the keep? It's a gray area, it's true. Fortunately for me, when something is needed badly enough, people find a way for it to stay legal. Let me see your wares. Wand of Fire, Blessed Runestone, Group Heal Scroll, couple potions. Oh, a couple things. Nothing we need, though. I'd like to sell something. Yes, I would. Sell that, sell those, sell that, sell those, sell those, sell that. And... sell all in the bag. And sell the spear, I suppose. I mean, maybe I should give her a spear so that she can actually use one. She'd be a hardier fighter. Not as survivable, but I kind of like the idea. Alright, these we can drop. We don't need them. But, yeah, you know what? Let's give her a spear instead of a sword and shield. Actually, let's let her hold on to the sword and shield just in case. I mean, you never know. Okay. And we have something here. I'm guessing it's about, no, that's about the Titan Peaks. Alright. Titans are in many ways similar to humans, but very stocky, powerfully muscled, and much taller. Some specimens are as much as 12 feet tall. Perhaps Titans are a race of humans who grew much taller and stronger. Or maybe the opposite is true. All that is known is that the Titan Peaks is the last land controlled by these proud, powerful creatures. These mountains are one of the Farlands, a rocky peninsula on the southern coast of Linnaeus. The Titans are penned in there by the Pact. Ending the raids of these powerful warriors was one of the main reasons Kava joined the Alliance. Titans are very strong and fearsome in battle. They wield war clubs and huge iron swords, and they fling rocks at their foes with deadly speed and accuracy. They are not long-lived creatures. Their bulk weighs them down and wears them out at an early age. And they're not stupid. Some see their tribal lifestyle and fur garments and think they are simple creatures. A dangerous mistake. The Titans of the Peaks belong to the tribes, led by elders and shamans. In a way, it's not that different from the Wild Realm, but most Titans are warriors, ever ready to fend off potential assaults by humans greedy for land. The peaks themselves are jagged and painfully difficult terrain for invaders. In a fair fight, one Titan is a match for 10 human warriors. The Pact is organized, and there are many humans. Thus the Titans stay in their mountains, staring jealously at the fertile plains to the north. They hope for the day when the Pact will be gone and they can emerge. Okay then. Well, that's a barracks. Not really much in there. And this would be the quartermaster. Suppose we'll see if he has anything to see or do. Ah, good. The Kava, of course. The Kava. The Kava is a member of the Midlands Pact, a nation of harsh people in a harsh landscape. Maintaining life on its wide expanse of scrubland and rocky plains was difficult enough even before dealing with constant raids from wretches and the barbarians of Svorgald, so the Emperor of the Kava leaped at the chance to join Hadvar's alliance. Those outside the Kava often joke that this land has 2 kings, their Emperor and a bunch of rocks. This is pretty close to the truth. It is true that the Kava is primarily a hereditary monarchy. Each dynasty leads absolutely until it is disposed by some violent civil war or other. But the Kava is also ruled by the Stone Code. This is a code of laws first written a millennium ago and greatly expanded since. These laws provide the structure of life in the Kava. Even the Emperor must obey them. A leader who ignores the Stone Code is seen as power-mad and faces destruction. The core of the Stone Code can be found in the middle of every city and village in the Kava, carved into 4 pillars of rock, there for all to see. Actually, there is a lot of the code that is written on papyrus. The Stone Code grew too large to be practically carved onto stone about 5 centuries back. However, the core principles of the code are always visible, and that is what is important. The people of the Kava are fierce warriors. For the last 2 years, they have fought guerrilla war with the Wildroom tribes to the west. The reason? The contested lands, a rich region of wooded hills long claimed by both nations. Wonderful. You meet Watcher Dennis, the quartermaster of Rockridge Keep. He has the dark hair and harsh features of a man of the Kava. He is walking around the storerooms, tallying his meager supplies. You have met him. He provided you with your first blade and suit of armor, after all. When you meet him, he says, "Well, welcome back, Farron. I'm glad you survived your patrol. I don't have any supplies to spare, but I'll always do what I can." What can you give me? Well, nothing yet. Commander Odell knows you are here. I won't do anything to delay your report to him. I can understand you are avoiding the man. Still, the commander's tower is east, in case you forgot. Of course, and I do know. Okay, what the... This wretched child starts asking you questions about the life of a warrior. And more questions. And more. And more. Eventually you just run away. Wretched children. Huh. Well, this room is actually quite big. And this is probably... Yep, that just looks down there. Not surprising. And is someone here? This was something you didn't expect in a pack fort. Wretches. Quite a few of them. One is fully grown, muscular, and acting as the keep's blacksmith. The others are its young, small, feral, ever hungry, trying to help it in the forge, but mainly only magnifying the chaos. The wretch in charge separates 2 of his young, who are going at it hammer and tongs, literally, and approaches you. "Welcome, warrior! Welcome, welcome! I am Virgil! This is my forge! Snag, trash, put that sword down! I would aid you. Trading, I do." What is a wretch doing here? Virgil seems slightly offended. "Always be asking that. The pack tell us, be good and be welcome. We be good, we help. Then you go, a wretch! What wretch do here is help make weapons, fix armor, good with hammers." Wretches are welcome in the pact. "Welcome? No. But we be good, follow law, then we can live and work and nobody kills us. I good, raise kids to be good, then nobody kill them too." Considering the constant violence Virgil's children are inflicting on everything around them, you have your doubts about how good they are. What do you think of the contested lands? "Humans shout at each other, stab each other, gives Virgil work to do, money to make." You have no opinion on the struggle? Yes, opinion. Humans violent and crazy like wretches. There is opinion. I can't really argue. Virgil alternates between repairing blades and keeping his offspring from killing each other. Sometimes one of the wretched young aids Virgil in his work, generally more by accident than intent. A lot of kids. Yes, most wretches have many. Many. Wife and I only have 16. Poor showing. Family very disappointed. Okay! You have a wife? Using human word. Wretch word for partner different. What we do different. Scary and upsetting to humans. Best not to ask too much. Yeah, let's not ask about what happens with wretch. Yeah. What do you want your kids to be when they grow up? Alive. Alive is good. Well, not too many alive to swarm me and take my stuff. Less than that. But a lot alive, that is good. Shooting for the stars there, I see, Virgil. I'd like to trade with you. Yes. Commander lets me trade free with humans. Price good. I help you. What do you have? Well, that's where we can get our, gear. The workmanship of Virgil's blades and armor is poor. Barely acceptable. Still will do if strictly necessary. At least his prices are low. Yeah, nothing I think we need, really. Alright, we're good. I don't need it. I don't need anything. Good. Excuse me. Virgil runs off to liberate a red-hot poker from the claws of a frantic wretch girl. Yeah, I imagine that could be annoying. Alright. Let's make our way towards where we're supposed to go. Looks like it's over in here. Yeah, it's basically in here. In that structure, it looks like. I think we may actually have to end this episode here, because we only got I don't know. We only got, like, 5 minutes left in the episode. Either this one goes a little long, or it goes a little short. I don't know. Okay. Let's just look around and see what we can see first. Oh! Okay. Secret switches are a lot easier to see now. I like that. And I approve. Group heal. I also approve. Very much. Okay. I'm glad to see that secret switches are so much easier to see now. Oop. Okay, and that is basically just a way east. Nothing we need to do. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna end this episode here. Next episode, we'll report in. And then we'll start doing... I don't know what our quests are going to be. That'll be in the next episode, though. So, until then, I am Chester44. That is Farron and Khalida. This has been an Avadon Let's Play. An Avadon 2 Let's Play. And I shall see you all next time.